Welcome back. Before we took the commercial break, Mheshimiwa Ann Nyokabi Gadesha, Member of Parliament for Kiambu County as a woman representative, was casting aspersions at decisions by NASA to keep going to court over and over again. And one of them was that the vote is in people's pockets, not in institutions, not with the police, not with KDF, not with the IEBC. No, man.
You know, the challenge is to keep swinging like a pendulum. We were with her in 2016, and she said, leave the streets, go to court. Now we are in court where we don't disturb anyone. You go to court, you go to court with evidence, and we have always said we go to court with evidence. If we lose, we accept the decision of court and live with it. If we win, it's upon the institutions that are vested with this authority to implement the decision of the court. So the court works either way. That you will go with evidence, you will cite the proper law, that it's evaluated on the basis of evidence, facts and law, and if the court agrees with you, a decision is made in your favor. If the court finds that there is no sufficient evidence or reason for its authority to be invoked, it will dismiss the suit. And that is as clear as democracies from ages ago operate properly. Well, if you tell somebody don't go to court, the alternative is civic action.
It's quite interesting. In 2016, actually he's mentioned it, in 2016 they went to the streets.
Yes.
I mean, the people who wanted a change in the constitution of the commission, IABC commission, and the people on the other divide, you included, were saying, get out of the streets and go to court if you have grievances. Now they've gone to court, you are saying, you people get out of the courts and go to people's pockets. That's where the vote is. So where do you stand?
We stand exactly where on the point of truth, in that at that point there was property destruction, loss of lives, where they were asking for the IEBC to be changed, correct? That is the reference that is being made. When that did take place, and here they are in court saying, you know, the push that they are putting right now is to try and stop the election from taking place.
Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
That is not the case. Let me tell you, there is never an election that we have been prepared as this election. There has never been pre-election interrogation of the process to ensure that the poll that eventually we have meets the standards of law, as it has happened now. That interrogation has only been made possible by our vigilance. Now one will understand why Jubilee is uncomfortable. Their discomfort emanates from the fact that the scales are now balanced, that the tilt they used to enjoy is no longer there, and that's where their discomfort emanates. And we are telling them that now the scales are balanced, let's face each other square. Okay? And I don't know how Jubilee operates. The president assumes that going to court and going to campaign are two things that are must happen at the same time. You have different departments. The principals are on the campaign trail asking for votes. In the meantime, as the technical people are in the kitchen busy fixing the wheels to ensure that we have an election that meets the standards provided for in the constitution. And that is what we continue to do until after the election. Even on the election day, we have stationed 3 advocates in every single constituency in this country to track and monitor the electioneering process to ensure that we are able to respond in a timely and prompt manner in case anything happens.
How do you explain the argument by the people in the Jubilee divide and others that you people keep going to court like you want to scatter?
If you go to court and you
keep going to court,
if you go to court and you are a vexatious litigant, court will throw you away. It's a court of rules. There are clearly laid out mechanisms on how one approaches court, and if you are a vexatious litigant, court will throw you out. It will impose costs on you because you are going to court on frivolous claims that do not require the attention of court. We have not had any such instance where we have gone to court just for the sake of it. We go to court based on a clear evaluation of law and fact, and we make a decision that this is a matter requiring the attention of court.
Mheshimiwa Ann, even as you respond, I am trying to look at where stopping the deployment of the military has anything to do with the election date. The current case now is they want the government not to deploy the military? You are saying they keep going to court to stop the election date.
What NASA, ODM, this whole coalition, it's about throwing mud to see what will stick. And that is essentially the strategy that they're using, which I find quite unfortunate.
Has some of the mud stuck?
None. It all keeps sliding down, you know. It's unfortunate that, you know, at least I'm looking forward to election day where Kenyans will conclusively decide that they are tired of vexatious court claims.
None other than the NASA principal, flag bearer, Raila Odinga, has said that they want the elections on 8th August. What more do you need?
That can be the case, but when you take a look at the trends that are continuously going on, they're in court or that stop ballot printing. Now, honestly, when you take a look at how close the elections are and that you want ballot papers to be printed, obviously the whole interest of that is to say that we don't want this election to take place, because it's for the tendering process to have been restarted from the beginning. Of course, everybody knows that will go way overshoot the date of election.
Other than the ballot printing case?
There's that. They're in court and making all kind of claims.
No,
what is the recent one this time that you're in court?
The recent one is that the government should stop the deployment of the military unless Parliament approves. How does that affect the election date?
Really, now it's not even that's one that I would call a vexatious accusation, right, in court, simply because there are no plans in the offing to deploy any military. The military is in Somalia. It is there to support our borders, unless, and you know, when you take a look at some of these vexatious claims, I'm thinking that maybe the NASA presidential flag bearer, I don't know if they're in a pact with our neighbors, you know. I'm not sure if they're in a pact with them to deploy their military to our borders, because when somebody keeps making certain wild allegations, I'm not sure what their intention is. But I would want
and now you are just making an allegation which you don't want other people to make.
No, we don't. It's not that we don't want other people to make. I'm just thinking that I'm wondering.
You don't want others to do.
No, we are actually doing what the others are doing, right?
So two wrongs make a right.
They don't make a right, but we have to actually interrogate the basis of some of these claims, because anytime that they want to say you should just stay in this one area, what is it that you're planning, that you want the military to stay only within their backs? What is it that you're planning for this country, that you want to ensure that only yourselves
is that what
out? You want?
We've said that our military have had a cherished career.
Reputation.
Yes, reputation, and we want it to remain there. Our military have never descended to the arena of political contest, and we don't want them to get there.
And then
we want them to retain their high pedestal of being a force to secure and protect this nation from external aggression, and not to descend to the arena of political contest to help advance a narrow partisan political agenda, as they are being asked to do now.
By who and where?
But I must remind you.
No, I must ask a question.
No, it is by who and where. You know,
by who?
This is the where?
Do you have
Come on,
evidence? 1 minute. Do you have the evidence?
Yes, look at the case we have filed. We have attached everything. Even when we held the media briefing, we provided the journalists with all the documents, with all the correspondence.
So we leave it to the courts to decide on this based on the evidence.
But I must remind Honorable Nyakabi that Article 1 of the Constitution enjoins every citizen to defend, protect, and enforce the Constitution. And that is enforced by ensuring that the Constitution is not breached. And if you deploy the military without parliamentary sanction, you are breaching the Constitution. And that is what we've gone to the court to do, to enforce the Constitution. You have that responsibility. You should be saying NASA is doing the correct thing by ensuring that our Constitution is defended and protected.
Fair enough. I think we leave it at that. And if you will
allow me. You cannot make such blatant accusations. We already know that that same Constitution puts into place, that should it happen that there is some sort of incursion or where Kenya is required to deploy its military
yes.
to protect itself,
yes.
that they can do so, and then when Parliament resumes,
no,
for
no,
them
no,
to
no,
go
no.
back. Yes,
Actually, what the law provides is that in case of an emergency or Kenya is under attack, that you adjourned Sinai. Parliament was not
one of the reasons.
Parliament was not dissolved. You can be recalled
right,
on an emergency.
On an emergency.
Yes.
One of the
right.
reasons. Norman, one of the reasons why, in the wisdom of the constitution drafters, they said Parliament has to be adjourned Sinai and not disbanded, is to address such issues. That kind of virtue.
Yes.
You have rightfully put it that constitution allows for the deployment of the military in the event there is
an
external aggression
yes.
or an emergency. So
there is none. We don't have an emergency.
We
you
don't
see,
have an
this is their imagination. It is their imagination. It is their imagination that there is there is going to be deployment.
So
it is their imagination.
So then let's wait and see what evidence.
I must tell you that when a regime is coming down, it leaks, and your regime is leaking. That's what we know.
Please.
You know what? You know what?
And it is
the reason
leaking.
people are going to hospital is because they can see that it's over. It's all over. This one last bullshit, what do you call it, gunshot or bullet or whatever it is done. It's all over.
Norman, can we leave it at that? This case is before the court. They will decide whether it's vexatious or not, whether there is enough evidence adduced or not, whether there is deployment, mobilization or anything or not. And as always, we have confidence in our judiciary because it is enshrined in us by our supreme document, the Constitution. We'll be taking a short commercial break. Let's have some music from the band, and when we come back, we'll cross over all the way to the north, Turkana County, where NASA took their campaigns, and while there, the issue of the famous petroleum bill came up. Raila Odinga, the NASA presidential candidate, said, look, if you people can't get at least 20%, then let the oil stay underground.